Hi, I'm Danny Knightmare.
And I'm Gory Movie.
And we're Horror Addicts. And we just watched Rob Zombie's The Munsters.
Herman Love him.
Herman Munster. Love that guy. Now, this is kind of a prequel before the series. Does it follow the lore perfectly? No. I mean, it changes a few
You're
things.
just jumping right the fuck in. Wow, I haven't even dipped my toe in the water yet, and you're already in the deep end. Honey, slow down. Give me some foreplay.
This is just to let everybody know. This takes place technically before the show. Like, you know, China shows you how they get to the house they live on. 1313 Mockingbird Lane. So that's kind of the plot. I mean, for what there is a plot, it's basically how they all got to 1313 Mockingbird Lane. That's the plot. Well, what did you really like about it? I liked the coloring.
I think for starters, we should talk about whether or not we like the actual Munsters show and how we feel about it.
I love the Munsters show. I mean, that's the problem here, is I love the show. Like, that's gonna technically a bit of a diss on this movie is, you know, Fred Gwynn, I feel like, is really irreplaceable. And yeah, I just love that show. So it's hard to have different versions of it.
I think, you know, and I love this one as much as the Addams Family. Actually, I think I like the Addams Family slightly more. But, you know, that's how I feel about the 90s movies. I think they're fantastic, but they are their own beast. They're completely different than the old show. You know, Wednesday's older, and I embraced that. A lot of people, for some reason, I guess, weren't super into the show, so they embraced those 90s movies, you know, right away. And I feel like with the Munsters, maybe because more time has passed or something, but everyone's kind of stuck on, it needs to be Fred Gwynn, it needs to be Yvonne DiCarlo, it needs to be, you know, these exact cast, and you know what? It's never gonna be.
Of course not.
Okay, this is going to be its own thing, and I'm going to say right away before coming into this movie, you need to allow it to be its own thing. You need to put the Munsters aside and remember what you love about it. You love zany comedy, you love monsters, you love kind of a Leave It to Beaver style sitcom about scary people.
See, as for the Addams Family 90 movies, I was really young when that came out. That actually is my nostalgia as well, just as much as the show was, because I saw them about the same time. I would watch Addams Family on, like, Nick at Night, but I wasn't around when its first run, obviously, came around, so I feel just as nostalgia about those movies. I think those movies were excellently casted. Probably a little better than this one, but I still like Rob Zombie's casting. I will always say that if there's anything good about Rob Zombie, he casts his movies brilliantly. He puts all kinds of, like, 80s and 70s and 90s horror icons in these movies that I love just seeing them get work. So if there's anything, he does a great job casting.
And he's a big horror fan, too, which is something I really love about him. He's a big horror fan, and he's also a big Munsters fan. In fact, if you have the Blu-ray of Munster Go Home, which is the best Munsters movie, in my opinion, him and Sherry Moon do a commentary on it. They're both massive Munsters fan. You know, that's why he has a song called Dragula, which is kind of annoying, because I have a sticker that says Dragula on my car, and people either go to A, the Boulet Brothers show, or B, the Rob Zombie song. But no, the Dragula, man.
Yeah. So.
Kristen Orr, of course we remember you. How could we forget?
Yeah, what's up, Kristen? How you doing?
Hashtag old dude monster.
Kristen in Japan or Hawaii?
I don't know.
I think he was abroad at one point.
I'm abroad.
Yeah, you are.
You sometimes are
sexy
abroad.
broad.
You're abroad.
Sometimes I'm a sexy broad, too.
You're pretty sexy, regardless.
What I've been told. So, like I said, that is the only thing that kind of really holds us back is I love the original so much. But I agree. If you can put that aside, I think this is actually a pretty fun movie. I love how beautifully colored it is and just the scenery and how well it's shot. Like, I love just all the things about Zombie. That's always one of his favorite things about him. And, like, his strengths is that he can make a movie look really good. Like, even if it was maybe just... What up? Yeah, he lives in Japan. See? I was
Hey,
correct.
Gary Hedger.
How Gary?
My friend Patrick's here. My friend Ariel's here. Brandon Wayne Lewis.
We got a few people from across different ponds. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm from a different pond.
Yeah. So, like I said, that's thing. He makes movies look beautiful. All of them look great. They're just very artistically shot. Always got great cinematography in all of his movies, and this is no exception. It's very colorful. It's bright. It feels like the Munsters. Like, I can understand this being technically a zombie version of it. Like, it's very watered down compared to, we've never seen him do anything other than a hard R movie before. So, yeah, I'm impressed. I was really on the fence when I heard he was making a movie, especially because I'm like, the first time I hear Herman Munster, drop an F-bomb, I was probably going to check out. But that doesn't
This
happen.
movie is PG, so.
Yeah, this is lighter than the Addams Family reboot movies that we got in the 90s. Those were PG-13, so there you go. We seeing Zombie do a PG. I'm actually pretty impressed. What?
One of the things I thought was really cool, Rob Zombie said when he was making the movie, because the Munsters is in black and white, but if you ever see pictures of them, they were wearing very colorful makeup.
Mm-hmm.
So Rob Zombie said part of his inspiration for the visuals of this is he saw Sherry Moon and the rest of the cast walking around, and he's like, I feel like I'm in a cartoon. And so that's kind of his inspiration for the visuals of this. There's a lot of visuals in this that remind me more of like the really old like Looney Tunes and stuff. There's I'm missing the name, but like Roger Rabbit style visuals with the hearts in the background and stuff, that kind of thing. Tex Avery cartoons,
style, yeah.
Very Tex Avery. So it's not like it's not quite like that sitcom-y of the 50s feel. It's its own beast, which I think is really fun. I love how colorful it is. I love the lighting. It really heightens it to a different level, and I think it allows the characters to be more cartoony in the way that they're portrayed. They are very different. So I do really like them. I like the certain things that made me nostalgic about the original, like the guy, I'm pardon me for forgetting his name, who plays Herman. He has the laugh down perfectly, which I really loved.
They're all from what is that? The strip club, the Rabbit
in Red.
Rabbit in Red. They're all people who worked on that in the Halloween Rob Zombie movies. You got the owner, bouncer, and Sherry Moon.
Yeah, so if you watched Halloween or Halloween 2, these three were all in a scene together before. And, Rob Zombie did comment on that and why did he cast these people. So they were filming in, I want to say Bulgaria, I could be wrong. And he's like, I do not want to get to a foreign country with a bunch of people who don't get along. Mm-hmm. He's like, I didn't have a lot of time, and I knew that these three work well together. I knew that these three could do the job. And I know that they get along and they have great chemistry. So that was one less thing for me to have to worry about when we got into this situation. If you're a Munsters fan, there's some fun Easter eggs. There's a couple things I don't want to spoil for you that you're not going to see. And I actually really hope that he makes a second movie. I really hope he does. Mm-hmm. But how they get Spot. Yeah. How Herman and Lily meet. What Lily's life was like with her dad. Her brother Lester is in this.
Way more in this than he ever was in the original show.
Well, some episodes.
Yeah, but this is still way more of him than you got in those. Those were just little... You just pop in and remind you that she has a werewolf brother. I was actually wondering if they were going to answer a hypothesis of mine, but no, but it's still...
The origin is a little different in this. So if you watch the show, the origin is that Grandpa worked with Dr. Frankenstein himself to create Herman.
Which was one of like 27, I think, different monsters that Dr. Frankenstein made. Herman, I think, was number 23. But yeah, he's one of them. Like, there's other Hermans. There's like a bad Herman and a goofier Herman. There's like different versions of the monster of Frankenstein. So that's what it is in the show. But in this, no, Grandpa has nothing to do with Herman being made.
So in this, it's a little bit different. Herman is made, it kind of reminds me a bit of like Young Frankenstein. Mm-hmm. So there is a character played by Richard Brake who is a scientist, and he wants to make, really intelligent being. Well, there's two brothers who got killed. One was a comedian. One was like an insanely intelligent scientist. Mm-hmm. They wanted to get the scientist brother. They got the comedian brother. So he feels like he failed. His assistant Igor, though, he's like, no, this guy's
Grandpa's
cool.
assistant's Igor. He gets turned into
what was his
I can't remember
name?
His assistant's name. But yeah.
The guy from Lost.
Yeah.
Jorge Garcia plays him. What was his name?
I'm drawing a blank. But
Not Igor, but anyway.
He was actually pretty funny.
His assistant is like, no. This guy's going to be a cool guy. He's funny. I'm going to name him Herman because I knew a cool guy named Herman. Yeah. And a Munster, like the cheese.
Yeah.
Herman instantly isn't the scientist that the doctor wanted him to be, but he is a successful comedian. People love him. He tells a lot of dad jokes. Mm-hmm. Lots of dad jokes. And, I love that they bring back his kind of roadster look with the hat and everything. And he sings some songs and stuff. And he's on television, and Lily is immediately smitten.
Yeah, he's basically a punk rock star from the beginning. He has most of his songs are about jokes and stuff because he was a comedian in his past life, But he's just like straight into showbiz, and since that's kind of what he was thriving for as an alive person. That's just what he naturally goes to, and he's kind of a success. But he kind of just pushes all that to the side because he meets Lily, and he's like in love with her instantly.
And that's what I think is really cute because Herman, in the original show, like they get a lot of the key things about the character. Like Herman has really no ability to conceal his feelings or filter. He is everything he does is big. When he laughs, it's big. Whenever he does anything, he'll jump up and down. Like he's just, all his emotions are super big. And so like, it's cute because he's like the celebrity and, Lily is like, all nervous about meeting him because she like lives out in the middle of nowhere in Transylvania. And he's all like closes the door and he's like, yes, he's so excited. Like it's so adorable. It's so Herman Munster, and I like that they really understood the character. It is a little bit different. It's not Fred Gwynn, okay? Yeah. And I'm going to be really sad if people hate on this just because it's not exactly what they want.
Yeah.
I think the spirit of the character is absolutely the same, and I think he did a fantastic job.
I do, too. Go Home Monster with Fred Gwynn it probably is my favorite and always will be. This is, though, very much close second best monster movie I've ever seen. It's way better than those 90s straight-to-TV ones that we got.
Scary Little Christmas.
Those were awful. Because we got those great Addams Family movies that went to theaters, and then we got those TV movies for the Munsters, and I didn't like those. I always liked the Munsters more as a kid for the TV show, because I watched both Addams Family and Munsters on Nick at Night, because it was more of a cartoony thing. It was more sitcom-y, like you said, and this is a little more embracing the cartoon, but Herman has always been a cartoon character. Like, big bombs explode, and he
has Toon Force. There was one episode where he gets hit by a car, and the woman's like, oh my god, you poor thing, and he just gets right up, like it's not a big deal.
Dusts himself off. Yeah. He's had a big bomb blow up on him, and just, the smoke. He's even had his head removed, and he carried it around. He himself has always been a cartoon, and I feel like this movie has embraced that part of him better just because it could. The old sitcom didn't have the budget to really go there. But yeah, like I said, I like that too about it. I love...
Do you want to talk about... Somebody asked us what we thought of Daniel Roebuck as Grandpa.
Well, he grew on me as the movie went. Like, it was shockingly a jolting thing, especially when I saw the trailers. A lot of them were more jolting. But as the movie proceeded, Sherry, him, and Herman, they all grow on me more as it goes, as it plays out. It is a bit jolting, I admit. I'm trying to really push Fred Gwynn and all those people out of my head, and it's hard at first. But the longer the movie plays out, the more I really am able to do that.
I feel like they had to adjust Grandpa's character a little bit because they made the origin of Herman a bit different. Herman was a comedian, and his comedy style in this is pretty much dad jokes. And that was kind of Al Lewis as Grandpa Munster's role in the old show. He had the corny jokes. And so that part is kind of removed from Grandpa and kind of getting over to Herman. But he does have that wry wit. At first I was a little unsure too, just because he really doesn't like Herman right away. And I mean, he's never been
in the show, he would make comments about Lily oh, you married a boob and that's why this happened. He'd say stuff like that, but he never straight up tried to ruin their marriage.
Yeah, he's going out of his way to make sure that they don't end up together. And a lot of it's true. He's not a fan of Lester. Lily is his favorite child. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he just seems a little more cantankerous than he was on the show, where long as he had his stogies and stuff, Grandpa's overall didn't stay too fixated on one thing for too long. But this Grandpa does grow on you. I think if initially he's kind of rubbing you wrong, stick with it. Mm-hmm. Also remember that this is the Munsters in Transylvania before they come to Hollywood, before they come to Mockingbird Lane. And so they are a bit different there. They haven't been exposed to, American life yet. But overall, I think he did a really good job. He doesn't feel like Daniel Roebuck. He feels like this character. And I think that's more important than comparing him to Al Lewis. Yeah. Does this feel like a real character, or does it feel like, Daniel Roebuck from everything else he's been in, trying to be somebody else's character? And I don't think he is. I don't think he's trying to be Al Lewis. I think he's trying to be his own version of this character.
And as we talked about how you said Grandpa did never say that fixated on things, the show never really did. They would have silly resolutions that just kind of came out of nowhere sometimes in the show. Now, I don't know. I want to rewatch this later to really get a feel on how I feel about this. And I don't even know if it was intentional. But one of my kind of disses about this movie is it has very it has ADD, the movie itself. It has these plots that, like, they build up where there's going to be a big problem, and then that problem is kind of just, resolved about 20 minutes later. So it almost feels like every 20 minutes of this movie is like an episode. And they're all just kind of put together. Like, that's how I felt. Like, maybe it was intentional to kind of be like the Munsters TV show, where, like, about 20 minutes in, 25 minutes, like, which an episode was as long, they would move on to a brand new plot and brand new problem. And then that would get resolved in another 25 minutes. I don't know if I like that or not, but I don't know if I don't like it. I need to watch it again.
Before I want to talk about the plot, I do want to finish talking about the cast, and we need to talk about Sherry Moon.
Yeah. Okay. I thought the pictures of her wig looked really bad and stuff, but those were just the pictures that we kind of got. Honestly, most of her wardrobe and her hair usually looks fine in this movie. There are some parts in the very beginning, I think, that looked a little, once again, maybe it was just because I was feeling jolted by how they all looked, but it grows on me, and I think a lot of her outfits look really cool. I think she does an interesting performance. It's definitely not a bad one. It's still not my favorite Lily, but I think she does good, like, overall. Like, I felt that even in the show, I don't think Herman and Lily are getting it on. Like, in the Addams Family, they're definitely getting it on. In Munsters, I don't think Herman knows what sex is. So I feel like their chemistry in this movie is fine for what it is. They definitely care about each other, but, you know, he always, even when they get married and stuff, he'll go in to kiss her and she just gives him the cheek. But that's kind of how it was even on the show. So there you go.
The first thing that kind of threw me off with this character is one thing I love about the character of Lily is she has this kind of like very down to earth, but very kind of like almost like kind of like a little bit of like sarcasm to her. Like, she's a lot wiser, it seems, than everybody else in the family. She's the smartest person in the family. And that's what I always loved about her. In this, she's a very different character. I would compare it to Lydia from the Beetlejuice movie to Lydia in the cartoon. Yeah. That's how different these characters are, but you can still identify them as the same character. So, oh, by the way, I made a whole bunch of you mods, so get them spammed.
Yeah, that's weird.
But yeah, like how Lydia in the Beetlejuice cartoon is different, but you can still tell it's Lydia. Yeah, that's how Sherry Moon's Lily is compared to the TV show, Yvonne de Carlos. She is very much more of a cartoon. She has this voice she does. You know, Sherry Moon originally wanted to be a voice actress. I can tell she's having a lot of fun here doing a different voice. At first, I was kind of like, okay, that's an interesting choice. But she's a lot more naive
to the world. But once again, they're in Transylvania for most of this movie, and so maybe that's why she's still naive. But sorry.
Yeah, she's I don't remember what I was gonna say. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But I was just trying to agree with you. But yeah, she is more naive in the movie here. She does, when she wants to get serious, she'll still get serious, and she has like some cool powers that she unleashes.
I love that. When she gets pissed off and she just goes...
Yeah, her eyes glow and like electricity flies. So that's kind of cool. It's more than she ever could do in the TV show. But for the most part, she plays it pretty silly and dumb like everybody else in the movie. And that's fine. I think she did a good job. It's definitely, Rob Zombie sometimes puts his wife in these movies, and I think they're a little beyond her reach as an actress, but this one's definitely not. I think she does a good job.
She's a massive Munsters fan.
Yeah, and like you said, she was, trained to be a voice actress, and I think it really helps in this type of movie.
Yeah, she, to me, is like the cartoon version of Lily Munster. If there, I don't know. Was there a Munsters cartoon? I don't think there was. But if there ever was, and then you also have to remember the origins of the Munsters. You know, some people think that the Munsters was made to capitalize on the Addams Family TV show. It actually wasn't. It was created as its own separate thing. They actually created with the same inspiration in mind. They're both inspired by the Addams Family, the Charles Addams comic book strips. Yeah. The difference was when this company basically became Universal Studios, or I think it was, I don't know if it was officially Universal Studios yet. They thought, let's do that with the characters that we have the rights to. So we have the Universal Monsters. Let's kind of do our own Charles Addams cartoon TV show, but with our characters, the Bride of Frankenstein, Frankenstein's monster, Count Dracula. Yeah. And so that's essentially what this was. And again, looking at this from that point of view, these are like comedic versions of those characters. They're also true to Dracula and Frankenstein's monster and, the Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah, I think that myth about it like being there to combat them. I mean, there is a little truth to that. Like the network's kind of put in time slots, and they pulled it when the Addams Family got pulled as well. So clearly, some people in the network were using it that way, but it wasn't created specifically for that.
Yeah.
So, but
it was one of those things that got pushed forward because the Addams Family was being successful. But they were both only, I think Addams Family was 3 seasons. This was only 2.
Yeah.
In fact, the 80s version of the Munsters lasted longer.
Yeah. So there you go. The more you know.
Some fun facts. Some fun facts for you. Yeah. So I love seeing the origin. I love, Cassandra Peterson's in here.
Yeah, I was looking forward to her. You gotta wait towards the end. She shows up at the end.
Dee Wallace is in here.
Yeah. Dee Wallace is...
She's hardly... you're going to have a hard time recognizing her. She's a news reporter.
She's very much a cartoon, and so you can't recognize her. But I'm glad that she's in there. When Cassandra Peterson hits the screen, you definitely know it's her.
The other thing I will say, too, is this isn't a kid's movie. Like, I think it being PG, I think some people might be worried that this is made for children. This is still fucking Rob Zombie, guys.
He pushes that PG boundary.
For kids. This is essentially in the spirit of the Addams Family and Munsters TV shows, where those were shows made for adults to enjoy. And so they would have some, wry, like kind of naughty humor and stuff in there. So nobody ever swears or anything, but there are some sex jokes and stuff here and there. They're not super over the top. You can watch it with your family. You can watch it with your kids. Mm-hmm. They're not going to get it, but it is definitely intended for an adult audience.
Yeah, he pushes the PG boundary. He just wanted, I think he went with PG because that's what the Munsters embraced, but he still is Rob Zombie. He's got his own, hey, thank you, weird animal.
I like that little creature. How's it going?
That's Prozac, a.k.a. Canadian Jason.
Oh, I didn't know he had a new channel.
That's his band's new channel.
Thanks,
Weird
buddy.
Animal.
Hey, buddy.
Go check out some Weird Animal videos on YouTube.
I'm going to check it out. I'm going to subscribe as soon as I'm done here.
Yeah. He's got some cool shit going on there. How's it going? It's going pretty good.
Are you flowing?
Yeah. So, my bar was pretty low going into this, to be honest. A lot of people had hate before they even saw it, and I was like, no, I'm not going to hate on it before.
That's what makes me angry.
I didn't have any hate, but I didn't have any high expectations either. I just went into it, I'm like, I will wait till I see it before I pass judgment, and I was pleasantly overly surprised on it. Like, it kept my interest. Like I said, some of the plot and stuff's a little choppy. It has like a start-go, new problem thing going on with it, but if you're just it feels like marathoning the show, to be honest. And I overall want to watch it again to see how I really feel about that, and I am hoping for a second one. If Zombie makes part 2, I'm actually going to be looking forward to it.
As far as criticisms, I do agree, especially the ending. I was into the movie, and that's the biggest thing. I will say the biggest thing here is this movie is trying to be fun and cartoony and zany and Halloween and all those wonderful things, and it absolutely accomplishes that. Mm-hmm. I am very sad when I see on Rotten Tomatoes and Letterboxd 1-star reviews before the movie has even come out. There are people who just don't like Rob Zombie, don't like the idea of him doing a Munsters movie, myself. And they already put their opinion out there before they've even seen it. If you're one of those people where you've already made up your mind that you don't like it, just, I don't know, keep your opinion to yourself. Because frankly, I don't like that. I like to be on the side of horror movies. Mainstream audiences are already there always telling us that horror movies are crap and they do the same thing over and over again. Let's not do that ourselves.
Right.
Let's try to be on the side of the movie and at least give it a chance. This movie absolutely does accomplish what it set out to. Is it perfect? No, it's not. Like Danny said, it's got a bit of ADD. Some of the plot points, like, they just kind of drop, and then, okay, we're going... It almost feels like you're watching different episodes. It's like, okay, we're into another episode now. And when it ended, I'm like, that's it? I mean, I was having a good time. I wanted more. I was sad that it was over. It's fine. I wasn't angry at the ending, but I was just like, oh, well, okay, we're done now. And I definitely wanted another movie. I'm like, give me another one. I want to see more. I want to see what happens next. So that's a good sign that the movie is enjoyable. I wouldn't give this a super high rating. For me, this is a solid 3 stars. It's a decent movie. It accomplished what it set out to. It didn't blow my mind, but it is by no means deserving of a lot of the negativity that I've seen out there in social media.
Yeah, and there's a difference from saying something looks bad than just saying it is bad without seeing it. There's a difference. I got some people, I thought some of the pictures looked kind of bad when I first saw this, but I still thought I need to see it before I pass judgment on it. Or some people are like, oh, it's awful. It's not out yet. Yeah, it's awful. okay, whatever.
And so Mr. Hoodledean says, I think it would have worked better as an R rating. What do you think?
It would have been more interesting in certain ways, but I'm kind of glad it wasn't, just because I don't want...
I don't need them swearing. Honestly, the TV show would have been a G.
Yeah.
Munster Go Home. Gosh, what is that? It's at least a PG, if not a G.
And if anything, it's PG because it's spooky, not because of anything they did. I don't even know if it has a rating. It's just straight up for kids. Mm-hmm.
It's PG-13.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I cannot see any universe where a Munsters thing is rated R.
It would have been a whole different movie.
Wouldn't have been true to the Munsters.
No, I mean, I'm not saying people wouldn't have found enjoyment out of it, because if you especially like Rob Zombie and you want that kind of hillbilly trash talk that he's really good at, then, yeah, some people probably would have liked it for that. But particularly, I just wouldn't, because, like, I just don't like the Munsters that way.
I had faith in him being a Munsters fan that he wasn't going to make this similar to his horror movies. Mm-hmm. I had faith in him, and I feel like he delivered. He delivered something that was very much in the spirit of the Munsters, and yet it's still its own thing.
This honestly might be my favorite Rob Zombie movie, to be honest. I don't know yet. I do like The Devil's Rejects. I really am a fan of that, but I don't know. I need to rewatch it. I need to kind of think about it more. These live reviews are our first thoughts.
Also, there's a lot of times in this movie where I laughed out loud. I had a lot of fun with this. Yeah. So I think even on a rewatch, my rating might go up. I tend to rate things lower when I first watch them, but yeah, I might even enjoy more. I will tell you, I've already put it on my Amazon wish list. I'm hoping to purchase this soon, maybe next payday. But I do want to buy it and watch the special features. I know that Rob Zombie and Sherry Moon did a ton of special features on this Blu-ray.
Yeah, and just his world of Transylvania, because that's where most of the movie takes place. There's part where it takes place in Paris for a while, and then they get to Hollywood in the end.
The costumes are crazy in this.
But especially in Transylvania, it's almost like a Tim Burton world come to life, no longer claymation. Like, it's pretty cool. I like that. And like I said, it has his weaknesses. Zombie's weakness, I feel, has always been his writing, and it does have that, but for different reasons than usual. And then it has all of his strengths. It's beautifully shot. It looks great. The visuals are just very appealing, like very much a music video, but just still a good story.
Has some songs in it, original songs that he did for it.
Yeah.
I was a little unsure when they broke into a cover of "I Got You, Babe," but is what it is.
That's probably my least favorite musical
I wasn't
number.
Crazy about that one.
That was actually one of the slightly cringe parts, but I have to rewatch it. Maybe it's not as bad. Even Beavis and Butthead did.
I absolutely know that there's going to be a lot of people who don't like this because it isn't the same as the Munster show.
No.
To clarify, Hoodledean said, not much the language, but humor and gore. There was never any gore on that show, so I would hate to see there be gore in this because the whole idea of the Munsters was Universal Monsters in a family sitcom. So that would I feel be untrue to it. But
Addams Family
humor?
and the Munsters.
I mean, this has adult humor in it, if that's what you want.
Even the
it
original
has dirty humor in it, adult humor in it.
Yeah, there is the humor in there. So if you're looking for that, you'll find some of it.
It's not child humor. There are dad jokes, but a lot of the humor in this is intended for adults. Like, a lot of it's going to go over your kids' heads if they watch it with you.
Even the original shows, those pushed the boundaries on humor for what they could back then. Mm-hmm. They're obviously tamed by today's standards, and this is obviously tamed by zombie standards, but it's still got a lot of that kind of adult humor in there. So it's not targeted towards kids, despite the fact that it's PG movie.
It's again more like, watching the old like Nick at Night style, like old time 50s sitcoms where that was intended for adults, or even something like Married with Children where it's intended for adults. It doesn't really cross the line. It's on television.
Yeah. It reminds me a lot of Tim Burton's early work. So
there you go. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely.
Because those weren't really kids' movies, but, kids still liked them. Now, Tim Burton did more Disney kid-friendly stuff later. But my
biggest complaint is I would just like a more focused story, because at first this was very much Lily and Herman are getting together, Grandpa's trying to sabotage them. And then now they're moving to Hollywood, and then it became... it was Halloween, so they think all their neighbors are really cool, and then they see that all their other neighbors are only, like, they look normal the rest of the year. And it doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, they set up a plot problem right before the movie ends, and it never resolves, really. But that's kind of how a lot of the movie is. Even Grandpa, like, he tries to foil their wedding, and then he he's just like, whatever. Like, that's kind of what I feel like a lot of the movie does towards its plot problems. Whatever. But to be honest, that is pretty true to how the Munsters were.
I like Rob Zombie's writing. I just want him to get another person on board because I think he has good ideas. I think he's creative. I think he's fun. He has a lot of funny lines in this movie. I would just like him to collaborate. I mean, maybe he brings somebody that he already works with a lot to be like, hey, co-write this with me. Look it over when I'm done. Add your own stuff into it. You know, he collaborates with a lot of people over and over again in movies. I'm sure one of them is a good writer or storyteller as well. Just, dude, bring somebody in that writer's room with you.
Yeah, because sometimes his characters all sound like they're written by Rob Zombie.
I don't want him replaced, is what I'm saying.
No.
I think he's great. I want him to collaborate with somebody else, somebody who can be like, hey, maybe we need to work this part out a little bit better.
I think he's always got a pretty good big picture when it comes to his writing, but his writing is his weakest part for me. Like, as a writer, director, and all that other stuff, I think the writing is the weakest link of what he does. It doesn't mean it's all bad. There's some good in there, obviously. Just I feel like that is his soft spot. Whatever happened to Eddie Munster?
I want a part 2 where they introduce Marilyn and they introduce Eddie Munster. Because we've got Lester in this. We've got Spot, which was a surprise.
Yeah, their pet dragon from under the steps.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in it. I think what makes me really excited about this, though, is I do love the Munsters. And I'm really hoping that, you know, newer generations, people in their 20s, people younger than that even, who maybe haven't seen the Munsters are going to be like, hey, this is really fun. And they'll go check it out.
Yeah. A lot of people actually, I think, that hate on this because it's not like the other ones. I don't know how much those people actually really watch the Munsters, though. Just saying.
So, rather, you know, we always say, like, see it or skip it and stuff. I think we've made it clear that we do want you to see it.
Yeah, definitely see it.
It is worth watching. Who do we recommend it for?
Well, to zombie fans, definitely, because it has a lot of his style in there. It is toned down from his vulgarness, but it has his style. Munster fans, I do honestly think you should give it a shot. I think if you are
give it a shot, but let it be its own thing.
Exactly.
You know what? I'm going to throw in Universal Monster fans.
Universal Monster fans. Like I said, if you really liked old school Tim Burton work, it's very similar to that.
I'm going to say this is for people who love camp humor, okay?
Very campy. Like
very campy. People who laugh at dad jokes. People who laugh at puns. People who laugh at, you know, people who think farts are funny. You know, there's actually no fart jokes in this, but that kind of humor. Yeah, this is very, like, just silly sitcom-y humor. This isn't super highbrow stuff here. So people who can enjoy that, if that kind of stuff is, you know, too unsophisticated for you, don't watch this movie. It's not for you. People who love Halloween, people who love spooky and campy when they come together. That is who this movie is for. If that sounds like your kind of movie, this movie is going to entertain you. It's going to make you laugh. You're going to have a lot of fun.
And puns that are like, you know, monster, zombie, vampire related, like the old shows and did as well. Like a lot of that death macabre, but in a fun, punny, kind of not in an appropriate way.
People who love bright colors, dazzling visuals, people who want a faster pace, you know. I think this movie, I think it's one I'm going to want to watch, you know, in the Halloween season again. I really did enjoy it. Zigma asked my brother, hey brother, do they have the classic theme song? That's actually really fun because at the end of this, he recreates the opening in black and white and everything of the original Munsters show with the original theme song.
Yeah, which is really cool. I said, this is basically a prequel, and that's kind of how they nail it to where it's now the show. If he does make another movie, it'll be more like the show because they've gotten to where they need to be.
This takes you right up to, they've moved to 1313 Mockingbird Lane in Mockingbird Heights. But we're still not quite up to where the show is yet. Because the show, when it starts, her cousin Marilyn, or her niece Marilyn lives with her. Her niece Marilyn lives with her, and their son Eddie is there, you know? And so I would like him to make a second movie. I really hope he does. I really hope that the haters who are just going to hate this movie just because don't get in his head. I hope enough people like this and review it and appreciate it that he can make another one, because I know he had a great time making this. I had a great time watching it. I want a movie where we see how Eddie comes to play. And I have a feeling Lester has something to do with that. Well, and I want Marilyn to come into this too.
I'm just going to go ahead and do it now, because instead of doing a spoiler section, I'm going to give you my horror hypothesis that I've always had.
It's a popular one, though. It's not just you who has this.
But I came up with this a long time ago. I'm not saying I'm the only one who came up with it or first.
You came up with it independently without hearing
exactly.
Yeah.
Because I just remember just kind of going through the Munsters again before.
And you were the first person I heard it from.
Before we even did Horror Addicts, before my channel existed. It was actually one of the episodes I always wanted to do, but I never got around to actually doing it. Here's my horror hypothesis about Eddie Munster, because if his mom is a vampire and his dad is a Frankenstein monster, Apu even asked him this in The Simpsons, why was he a werewolf? Well, Herman doesn't even seem to know anything about sex. Like, there's an episode where there's a wind-up Frankenstein toy walking down the hall, and he's like, oh, we have a new baby, and he's loving it and thinks it's his new kid. He doesn't know. They sleep in different beds. They do, like, the kiss on the cheek. That is basically all that the Munsters have ever done. Like, in the Addams Family, I know Morticia and Gomez, they're getting it on. Like,
they are
every night.
They've had sex 3 times before breakfast.
Exactly. That's just anytime anybody whispers a French word or sounds like a French word.
And that's one thing I really loved, because it was common in that, even on I Love Lucy, they had separate beds. One of the reasons why I just like Addams Family a little bit more is it was willing to do things that were not established at the time. Having a couple be that affectionate to each other and talk about sex and stuff was not done back then.
Exactly. And I mean, yeah, he kind of acted like the Groucho with the cigar too and the eyebrows, but they made it funny, but they still made it sexy. But with the Munsters, though, as much as I love the Munsters, I don't think Herman knows what sex is. Like, he doesn't even seem to understand how babies are made. And we know that he's popped in a couple of times in the episodes. He's a tramp that's always on the run. Her brother Lester, the werewolf. Okay, so Eddie's a werewolf, right? And back then, especially back then, it was very taboo to have, like, children out of wedlock and stuff, and people were very judgy, and it was just kind of a thing how it was. And
there's a lot of people who've been raised by, like,
their aunt
their
or
grandparents,
their grandparents, and told that was
Jack
actually...
Nicholson was.
Yep, Ted Bundy. A few people in real life did that, where they didn't know who their real mom was until they got much older. I think Eddie is actually Lester's kid. I think Lester is a tramp. He's always on the run. It makes sense. He's traveling around. He got stuck with a kid. I don't know what happened with the mom, but he got stuck with a kid, and it's just not going to fit his lifestyle.
If it's their family, like Grandpa, and even in this movie, he's like, well, where do I go? And they're like, well, you're going to live with us. And, Marilyn lives with them because, she's really close to her Aunt Lily. And so, like, they take in strays.
Eddie's personality is also not really much like Herman at all.
I know it's 2022, but Team Edward for life, yo! And I'm talking Eddie Munster here.
Yeah, right. Whatever happened to Eddie Munster?
I've always been Team Edward.
And he makes a cameo, the original, in this. You're not going to recognize him, but he's in it.
Yeah, Butch Patrick, who played the original Eddie Munster, he plays the robot.
He's a robot in this.
He officiates their wedding.
Yeah, just a big old walking 80s tin can style, or not 80s, but like 50s style robot.
Yeah, if you watched a lot of Rob Zombie, like you said earlier, if you're a Rob Zombie fan, and for people who are not really well versed in his stuff, I think that might put some people off. I'm talking like watch his music videos. He does tons of cartoony stuff. He did that Super Beasto movie that was an animated film.
Yeah.
He has this really zany Tex Avery kind of humor.
Yeah.
And he really goes full tilt in this movie.
Yeah. Though if you want the more R, go with the Super Beasto, because that's heavy R for a cartoon. And Cassandra Peterson is in that as well. But yeah, this is more fun. It's lighthearted. And like I said, I think Eddie is really his kid. I was wondering if this movie was going to go there. We don't get there yet, but maybe in the sequel.
Zigma wants to know Munsters versus Addams Family. Who wins? I think we should save that for a fight night.
I think we should. I've actually written to Death Battle several times to do Gomez versus Herman, where I feel Gomez has all the skill and is violent killer, but Herman is so unbreakable.
We should do an Addams Family versus the Munsters, and like the matriarch, the patriarch kids.
Just put them against each other.
Who wins? Grandma versus Grandpa.
Cousin It versus Uncle Lester. Fur will fly. The fur will fly. I don't know. I think Herman is more indestructible, but Gomez has definitely got the skill.
And this is available in certain places now, but it is going to premiere on Netflix the same day as the new Addams Family show, which I think is kind of fun.
There you go.
Wednesday, which I'm so excited to see the new Wednesday show.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who you think would really win. I like that we're getting new of both.
Again, Addams Family is a perfect example of let something be its own thing, because most of what you know about the Addams Family, you know from the 90s movies, not the original show. Morticia was never like Angelica Houston on the old show. She's very sweet and cute and funny. She's dark and, vampy. And I love them both. But again, it makes me sad that people were so willing to allow that to be something different. You know, Wednesday's the older sibling. Wednesday was always the youngest in the show. As somebody who's just a big fan of that show as a kid, I was like, this is very different. But maybe we were just more accepting of new things
We were also
in the
younger,
90s.
like I said.
Maybe because there wasn't the internet then.
Yeah.
People let things kind of be their own thing.
Twitter wasn't there to destroy it.
Wait, what?
Oh.
Is that Sleazy P. Martini?
Is it the real Sleazy?
Is it the real Sleazy?
I mean, if it is, then cool.
If it is, that's awesome.
Yeah, let him go ahead and insult if it is the real one.
Yay.
Don Dracul, how you doing? Do you really know Gwar?
Yes. Hey, Sleazy, do you really know Gwar?
I don't know. It might just be someone who's using it. But check out
I'll
the real
allow it.
Sleazy. If it isn't him, if either way,
streams
check.
all the time.
He does a lot of cool streams. I fucking love Sleazy. I've bought into some of his sculptures. He's talked to both me and my wife, and so yeah, whatever. If he wants to call us tools, I don't care.
I still use that time he emailed me as a claim to fame. Like, one time Sleazy emailed me.
Yeah.
Because I bought
and-
a sculpture.
Hey, Sleazia, whatever happened to Eddie Munster? You're looking at him, ah! I think you know this.
Oh, here it comes.
I'm the fucking manager.
We love Gwar. Gwar's coming up here October 1st.
Yeah.
And a couple days later, too, on the 4th, I think.
We need to be filming that movie 11, so I think we'll be done in time to go see Gwar.
Fuck yeah. How many times have we seen Gwar now?
I've seen them 25 times. I
I've
don't know
seen
how many
them
times you've seen
a
them.
lot.
But
I've seen them not as many as you, but probably about 16 times now.
my 21st time, they killed me on stage. They put me in a
That
big
was
wood
so
chipper.
cool.
And at my time...
And your son watched.
Yeah, that was he was 15 and it was his first concert. I kind of ruined him for all concerts. He's seen
You
Gwar
did.
and Weird Al since then, so there you go. But yeah, go check out Sleazy P. Martini's. He does a lot of cool streams. I liked... What happened to your, like, quick hitter newses? I liked those. Now you're just taking them from your stuff. But anyways, Sleazy's awesome. Yeah, like I said, I went into this movie with low expectations. I was pleasantly surprised. Is it the best Munsters movie? No, that's Munster Go Home.
Absolutely.
But-
Let's just go home.
This is easily the second, like, very blows the other ones that we got away. Like, most people don't even remember those ones for a good reason. This one's way better than those.
I'm looking at this thing in the context of, somebody who's seen, Munsters Today, the 80s show that ran longer than the original for some reason. I'm looking at this as somebody who loved the Munsters TV show, somebody who's seen all of the movies. And when you look at it in that big context, I think this absolutely has a place there. And I think it's a worthy inclusion. It's definitely, one of the good ones. There's a few there where I'm just like, yikes, but this isn't one of those.
Yeah, and that was the problem with those 90s. They were very cheap, made for TV, and they were trying to be the original Munsters. They were definitely trying and failing at it. This is it tries to definitely show love towards it, but it's doing its own thing.
I think that's what would have upset me, is if, like, the guy playing Herman in this, if he was trying to do a Fred Gwynn impression and doing a bad job. That would have been upsetting. But he's not. He's trying to be his own Herman Munster, and he's true to the character.
They're even been to be written differently. Like, written with love towards the original characters, but still written differently to be their own thing. So, I'm just going to let it go. Then
The late 90s one with Jerry O'Connell.
Right? And regardless
They
of
made a new one, too. They made, I actually never saw it, but then I just saw that it's available on one of the streaming sites. They made Mockingbird Lane. It had, I think it had Eddie Izzard in it. Don't quote me on this, but it had, I think, Portia de Rossi. It was, kind of a modern take on it.
Yeah.
I've never even seen that one.
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it either.
I want to, though. Sounds cool. I'm sad
Sleazy
to
is subscribed to me. I am highly honored. If I would have
Lucky.
known, I'd go get my Odorous and Balsac sculptures that you made.
Lucky. I wish Sleazy subscribed to me.
Right? He definitely should. Check out Gory B Movie. He answered you on a few of the streams that, remember?
That's true.
We'd watch his streams and he'd talk to you about it. So, live from the bunker. I love that. Anyway.
The Addams Family Halloween special on Tubi.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of Addams Family stuff too. But Addams Family, they've had a few missed movies too. The third one.
Yeah, they definitely not everything they've hit was a grand slam. So, If I was judging this by all the Munster stuff, it's towards the top. Is it the very top? No, but it's towards the top.
I guess if you were comparing them, like with Addams Family, I would say the 90s movies is like, it's so different, but I would say in its own way, just as good as the show. I wouldn't say this is just as good as the show. The show's iconic, but it's entertaining. It's something I recommend. It's a worthy inclusion into this Munsters universe. And like we said before, I want more. Give me another movie.
Exactly, so. The remake one, yeah. Like to see a remake of Casper.
I took my brothers to see Casper when we were kids.
Is Rose McGowan gonna make at least a cameo in it?
Rose McGowan?
No, Christina Ricci. That's right. Sorry, I don't know why I got that mixed up.
I don't know.
I like both of them.
I'm
a fan of both of those ladies. So
Wednesday Addams, right there, man.
Exactly. She was Wednesday before she was in Casper, and what's his name? Who was Casper?
Devon Sawa?
Devon Sawa, who was in that Fred Durst movie recently.
Oh, the Fanatic.
With John Travolta.
And he's in the new Chucky.
Yeah, he was in the new Chucky. So I think he's coming back for season 2, even though they've killed him twice. He's gonna play a third character. I don't know.
Maybe it's
flashbacks, or maybe it's flashback appearances. But Devon Sawa, as they put them in there at least as cameos, I'd be down for that.
How come the Munsters and the Addams Family never crossed over?
That's one thing. Like, we got the Jetsons and the Flintstones. Why did we not get a Munsters and Addams Family?
I mean, I know they were different networks.
And I know that originally, like I said, the networks were competing with them a little bit. That's not why the Munsters was created, but they used them as a fight to them. But it's been so much different. We live in a world where different companies work together so we can have Spider-Man in our Avengers movies. We have Mario and Sonic games. I mean, come on. What the hell? Yeah, give me an Addams Family and the Munsters collaboration. Boom, I'm down for it. That's there. Rob Zombie, I got your next 2 movies, man. I got your next 2 movies. All right, you need to do a continuation of this one. I need Eddie Munster to show up. I need me some Marilyn. Yeah. Then I need one where they meet the Addams Family. Right. Thank you. You rule too, Sleazy. We are, like I said, big fan. We're massive fans. All right. Sleazy and Bone Snapper, right there, man. He's not a turtle. I love Bone Snapper and Sleazy. My favorite scumdag was always probably, well, Dave Brockie is Odorous. Well, obviously. He's a legend. I love Ballsack. I've always loved that cool bear trap face. Like, that is just like the most badass thing. And Beavis and Butthead introduced me at a very young age to Gwar, and I just pursued them for what Beavis and Butthead could show me. Like, even they're in the video game, the Gwar Beavis and Butthead video game, and I've just been a huge fan. It's been my favorite band ever since. So I love Sleazy. We should just do a Gwar stream one of these days. Actually, they have that new documentary out. I've reviewed Phallus in Wonderland. Well, yeah, but we have never done a stream. Exactly. We should do a Gwar stream. Mm-hmm. I even reviewed their latest album and stuff. But I love Gwar. You did. So it's an honor to have you on checking us out. Who is my favorite villain? Favorite villain? Like villains in all the world? I loved when there was a Robo Sleazy and he was working for Techno. Oh, favorite villain in Gwar? Yeah, I'm assuming that's what he's asking me. Favorite villain in Gwar? The Master was just a huge asshole. Kind of a letdown. Master has a butt. I love Skullhead Face. Skullhead Face, that's what I'm going with. I love Skullhead Face. So, I mean, if it's just things they fought on stage, then it got to go to the iconic Gorgor, but... Gorgor too. Exactly. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Skullhead Face. I'm gonna go Skullhead Face, and if Gorgor counts as far as things they fought and coolest things I've seen on stage, Gorgor. Gorgor! And it was kind of cool that they did, a Sawborg with Techno coming back, though. Oh, God, that documentary, it made me have a little extra heat with Techno than I always had. I knew there was heat between him and Gwar to begin with, but that documentary made me dislike him a little bit more. Though I do think it's cool that he does, like, a pro wrestling type thing. The Cuttlefish of Cthulhu? But I actually, so I pitched Danny's always making short films and stuff. I pitched an idea for him this would take some budget, though. You need to make it happen, though, because the Cuttlefish of Cthulhu, the original one, far as we know, is still in, like, it's evidence. Still locked up in evidence. You need to have, like, a bunch of bohabs, like, find out where it's located, band together, and decide that they're going to break it out. They're going to into a police station, which is highly dangerous and illegal, but just to steal the cuttlefish back of Cthulhu. Yes. Very cool. Yeah, he did make see, Don Dracula, Draculich. Yeah. Gorgor is, the best thing they've ever
Gorgor.
had on stage. I loved when they had Satan on stage and he had like the 3 different voices. So I fucking love that one. I've seen so much Gwar on stage.
The cuttlefish. Like does Zygmunt calls it the cuttlefish. There should be a cuttlefish.
One of the most like heartfelt memories that I have, sadly for all the wrong reasons, but like sad reasons, but I loved seeing Gwar actually at Haddad Lake for Odorous' Viking funeral, where Sleazy took stage and they had Slymenster on stage as well.
Make Sleazy a moderator on your channel.
I remember one of Sleazy's live streams where he's talking about like, oh, why would you want to see Slymenster? She's so old now. I'm like, technically isn't all Gwar older than humanity? Like
It's true.
they humped a bunch of apes and that's how humans got made, so they're all old as fuck. But definitely loved that one that I saw in Haddad Lake. I flew all the way here from Washington. Like I had to drive out to Seattle and then fly to Virginia there for that. So it was worth it. Definitely. And on the documentary when they're doing Odorous, you actually see me for a little bit filming Slymenster and her as she's carrying the torch. So
Yeah, I love Dawn's Sleazy's sculptures and stuff, but I'm still one of those little plushies from the movie.
yeah, the little Gwar tune, like where they're all like dolls and stuff. That's what they want to turn Gwar into, and he's like, "You want me to ice Gwar?" And do
That
it
and
yourself."
Slymentra's tampons that she made out of sheep.
Yeah, I would
Those
love
are the 2 Gwar merch things I need.
I would buy one of those bloody ass fucking sheets. It wouldn't fit anywhere, but I'd still buy
Speak
it.
for yourself.
Right? Heavy flow. So
Good times.
I love all their shit. I love their fucking metal ass fucking shit. I love the fucking funny, like, fucking an animal song. I've followed Gwar throughout their entire shit.
Working on them.
Fuck yeah. But yeah, I mean, just their punk rock fucking Death Piggy days and when they got you. And
Have we seen Sleazy live?
I have, like I said, I've seen him live. I've seen him live a few times. I saw the last time I think I saw him live was at Odorous' funeral, but I've seen him.
I haven't.
I've seen him a few times. I remember like they had him on there, and they actually had I've seen Bozo Destructo, which also played by that I don't know, a big fan. The Slave Don worked on, I think, helping make Bozo. So there you go. I've seen Bozo Destructo.
I need to see Sleazy live. I need to hear Think You Ought to Know This live. That's what I need.
That song I've never heard live. He has done.
That's one of the best ones.
I know, it's underrated. At least he's got a lot of people don't remember that he has 2 songs. You think you ought to know this?
Your Sleazy impression.
Yeah, I know. I'm probably
awesome.
He's probably like cringing as he hears it, but whatever. I'm a big fan, so.
You are indeed. You are indeed. So am I.
Right. Well, thank you for stopping in, Sleazy, and everybody
That's
else
cool.
who's been in the chat. I really appreciate it, but I think
Yeah, Sleazy, come to Washington and perform that live. That would be amazing.
yes.
He's never done it live.
Well, shit.
That needs to happen for the people.
No, Sleazy, you've done it live. I got some old VHSs where you did it, I think. But maybe you didn't go on tour. Maybe it was just like a special performance there. He did it for
I've never seen it. But I haven't been to as many as you.
right? You did it for Ragnarok.
Bye, Sleazy. Thank you. This is super cool.
We're wrapping up anyways. Appreciate it.
We love you.
But yes, hope to see you again and hope to buy some more of your cool stuff. All right. We're going to take off, though, because I think we have said enough about the Munsters, and we just started going into Gwar there, which, I love Gwar, so. Yeah, in the 90s. He hasn't done it since then. All right. Well, anyways, if you have seen this, let us know down. Like, especially if you're not watching this live and you're catching it later. Let us know what you thought of the Munsters. And I say check it out. Definitely see it.
I say check it out. Guys, it's streaming on Netflix. Everybody has Netflix.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's going to be something fun to watch this Halloween season. I think it's funny. I think you're going to laugh. You're going to have a good time.
And remember, like I said, Cassandra Peterson's in this. And Elvira, why we still got her. She's amazing.
Yes.
And I love to see her get work. She just had a birthday. So do it for her. Do it for everything. And yeah, go check out some sleazy stuff.
If you're a spooky family like us and you're looking for something that you can, watch with the whole family, this is definitely something I would say you should check out.
Yeah, thank you, Ariel. You're amazing, too.
Yeah, Ariel.
Did you see? Oh, yeah, she saw it. I think we were talking on your channel. But we went to the actual house where they filmed Evil Tunes.
Oh, yeah. Ariel! I was so excited. We saw the house where they filmed Evil Tunes, and the first thing I thought is Ariel needs to see this. So I took a picture, and I think I tagged you on Twitter, but hopefully you saw it.
Coming up soon, I will have another picture where I added that cartoon dog in there. I'll put that in there. All right. So anyways, guys, check it out. See it. Thanks for watching. And cut.
Cut!